So today we are going to discuss about the containers. So as I said before we start about containers, it is a lot of people find difficulty in understanding what is a container. Okay, few people ask like, is it container, is it a machine, or container, is it an application, or container, is it a service? So you can say container is a machine, as I mean it not exactly a machine, it's a mix of all three. Okay, it's a mix basically. Container runs as a service, but you will get the facilities like a machine. Okay, you can run applications inside it. Guys, 1 second. So um, now see guys, let's understand why container came into picture and then what was the olden method. Now see guys, let's say you want one application or a service. Service means let's say you want to run a simple web server. Now for that what we will do, we'll take a machine, let's say this is a computer. So inside this you will install your package httpd. Okay, the service will run so that the internet service will work. Okay, so that the internet will work, like let's say abc www.abc.com, this will work, this website will work if your httpd is running. Now fine, this is good. Now let's say you have not only one website to host, you have multiple websites to host. One is abc.com, another one is xyz.com. So what you did, anyhow you have same service, so you are hosting one more website, www.xyz.com. so here double service, I mean the double utilization happens, the resource are getting utilized in a double way. Now let's say your system has less power, then hosting multiple websites will be much difficult. Now to overcome this, in olden days what they did, okay, now to overcome this you have two methods. First method, what you can do is you bring a high-end machine. Okay, you bring a very powerful machine, a very big hardware by paying huge amount, and you run how many number of services you want to run and how many websites it will support. Okay, so these all are pages. Okay, one I am hosting in one system, I am hosting multiple sites like www.facebook.com, another one is hosting www.youtube.com, like that many different sites you can host. Or now this is good, the second method is good. You have a very powerful machine where you can host multiple, but here the problem is these are not isolated. Now for example, any incoming traffic and outgoing traffic, they happen through an interface, isn't it? It happens through an interface. Now let's say if your machine is having one or two interface, now like the clash happens, like one HTTP first website is using the one traffic is flowing, and at the same time this request came, this is also flowing. So that this is not a very big problem, but they are not isolated, so the website will become slow, because when facebook.com traffic is flowing, so already some resource is utilized, at that time YouTube traffic will want to go, or it will go in a little slow manner. So now to avoid this problem also, what they did, average systems, okay, average systems, one for each. Okay, so if first system is hosting facebook.com or whatever abc.com. Okay, So the box inside it, that is your service or the page, the HTML page. From second system, what you do, you will host another website, www.xyz.com, and in third machine, like different machine, different sites. So www.tf.com, whatever the domain is you are hosting. Now the third idea is good. Say if you want to purchase one hardware, it will be very expensive and there is no isolation. Whereas with the same money, you can purchase around 5-6 machines, or little low configuration, 10 machines you can purchase and host 10 different websites, and they all are isolated. This is good. Okay, this is fine. So this creates a isolation. Now in this machine only abc.com service is running, the abc.com related service is running. XYZ service will not consume any resource from first machine. So to some extent the third option is much better, but the problem here, I mean not problem, when time changed, like this was in physical. Okay, physical means a real computer, through 4 or 5 computers they will bring and they used to do. Now the time changed, so everything moved into cloud. So what happens in cloud? In cloud you will create many virtual machines. Now think these are virtual machines. Okay, these all are virtual machines. You are using abc.com, like 3 virtual machines are there on your cloud environment, on your AWS cloud or any Google cloud or any OpenStack cloud, doesn't matter. Multiple number of virtual machines are there. Fine. Every cloud provider, public cloud provider, has a billing cycle or billing rule of pay per use. How much you will use, that much you will pay. Right? I hope everybody know this, pay per use. So let's say here the utilization, if you look carefully, you are running a web service, HTTP web service. Now HTTP web service, I mean a HTTP size will be how much? If you do yum install HTTP, install size will be something around 10 MB. Let's say you will add a HTML page, a very high defined website you want to create. So the web page size is, let's say, 500 MB. Okay, 510, approximately let's say 600 you take. I am giving 90 MB extra. So to support 600 MB, you need a operating system of around 3-4 GB. On a runtime it will be more than that as well. Okay, so that's a problem. That was a problem. Now not only that, a operating system, when it is running your HTTP service, along with it some other services are also running. So they may also utilize your resource. So it is not completely isolated, even you are storing in multiple machines. So to avoid these problems, containerization came into picture. Okay, so what happens in containers is, container is a very lightweight platform which creates an isolation, So you have your system. Okay, you have your system. On top of your system, let's say you want to run abc.com, xyz.com, all those 3 .coms. 1, 2, 3. 3 containers, 3 different HTTP service inside the container. And inside the container, HTTP means only HTTP will run, nothing else will run. Inside the container, you will also have some commands, not all the commands. Okay. Some commands will be there. By using those commands, you can do it. Okay, you can perform some activity inside the container. Outside the container, you will have the operating system. You will do the normal task of operating system. But inside the container, you cannot run any command of a operating system. The command is directly belongs to the container. So it's a lightweight platform which will help in running your service. Now So you can ask me, like, let's say there is a container where HTTP is running. I will delete HTTP and I will install a new application or new service in it. That is not possible. See, when creating the containers, it is already decided, it is already hard coded that what will run inside the container. So HTTP contain, I mean, you want to run HTTP service, then you have to run a HTTP container. You want NFS service, you have to run a NFS container. You want some XYZ service, you have to run that particular container. For every different service, there will be a different container. Okay. So from where container comes? From where container comes? See guys, container comes from an image. Okay. Guys, if you are getting confusion, please ask. A container is generally created from an image. Now, what is this image? See guys, I'll show you a simple example. So this is a blueprint of a car. Which car is this? Any car. Okay, think this Honda City blueprint is this. Okay. Now, this is a blueprint, means the prototype, and this is the actual car, right? Everybody can compare. This is the blueprint, this is the actual car. So by using this blueprint, how many cars can be created? Is there any number?
Infinity.
Yeah, you can say infinity, because depends on the manufacturer or the requirement.
Manufacturer as you require.
Yeah. So here the blueprint is nothing but the image, and the actual product is nothing but your container. See, image is a developer, or you can also create an image that you will tell that this whatever the containers will be created from this image, they will have commands like it will have only 4 commands. It will have cp command, it will have pwd command, it will have hostname command, and it will have systemctl command. Systemctl start, stop, restart, those things you can do. Only these 4 commands should be there. You will also tell that only port number 80 should be given, and you also will tell that only one service called HTTP will run, or maybe NFS will run, nothing else. Only NFS will run, nothing else should run inside the container which will be created from these images. So these all things are already defined for this image. Now any container, like, means whatever the prototype which we decided, the car will be on the same model, or same features will be there. Same way here also, whatever you features you give in the image, same things we will get in the container. Now you want a different type of container, means you want a different type of car, the prototype should be different for that. You take a different prototype. This is a Lamborghini, you need a Lamborghini car, you want to create that, then the prototype is different. Same way, you want a different NFS or HTTP container or some other container, like a database, SQL database container, then you need a different image. From the same image you cannot create a SQL container. Okay. So by using this image, you can also create n number of containers. So basically the image is a prototype, or you can say the recipe. The recipe to cook, we all cook, right? We eat food. So the recipe is nothing but the image. As per the recipe, the food is prepared, the food is the container. Okay. Now, so basically the containers are created from the images, or the another example is this example can be a very good. You install a operating system by using one image ISO file. You will make your pen drive bootable and then you will install it. So after installation, the actual operating system on your system, that is the container, the ISO file is the image. Here also similar to like that, but we are not going to make it bootable. Okay, so these containers run on a operating system, so they run in a isolated manner. When you enter into the container, only few things you will find as per the design made by the developer. Whatever the design he has done, only those things you can find inside the container. So that's why containers are very lightweight. Due to the lightweight and complete isolation, the application which is running inside the container is faster. Okay, it is faster. So you understood what is a container hopefully, and why this container picture came into the market. Because see, now pay per use, who will pay that much money here, like so much of money? You leave that within 700 MB your complete image is ready. Okay, so that's the thing. Now to manage these containers and to orchestrate, no, orchestrator is Kubernetes. Again, Kubernetes has a different role. It will help us in handling the pods, making the communication, putting a API request. That's a different thing. We are not discussing anything about Kubernetes, but if possible you can also learn that. Okay, but see guys, to work with the container or container images, to work with the containers or the container images, we need a container runtime. Okay, we need a container runtime. Now what is this runtime means? See guys, nothing but, you can say in simple language, you can say container manager. Okay, there are lot of tools in the market which you would have heard, like Docker, not Docket, Docker. Docker is the one of the popular container runtime. So similar to Docker, if you know Docker, that means you know this chapter. Like right now what I am going to teach, you know that. So like Docker, Red Hat has created their own container runtime, which is Podman. See, the concept of Docker and Podman is almost 90% it is same. Commands are also same. So if you know Docker, that means you know Podman. The only difference between Docker and Podman is Docker has a daemon which will help us in running it, but the Podman does not have any daemon for it. It is like a Ansible program. Like Ansible also does not have any daemon.
Can you repeat again?
I was saying Docker has a daemon, whereas Podman does not have any daemon. So there is also many different types of container runtimes, like cryo container runtime, and many are there. So in this course you are going to learn about, in this chapter you are going to learn about Podman. Okay, so Podman is one of the tool of Red Hat which is used in running the containers, pulling the container images. Now pulling the container image means, okay, you will pull means you will bring the image. From where you will bring the image? So remember, images are brought from a location. that location is called as registry. That location is called as registry. Okay, so that's the thing. So that location is called as registry. So from registry is nothing but nothing like a your repository. In a repository, all the packages are stored. Same way, in a registry, all your images are stored. Now, registry, there are many different types of registry. There is a Docker registry, there is Red Hat registry, or you can also create a local registry. It's up to you. So we'll see. You can also go to uh, access.redhat.com. So when you go to access.redhat.com, you see on the top subscription, download, container and support cases. So I don't want to go to any other, I want to go to the containers. So when you click on containers, you see here you have the list of container images. See, for every service there will be a different container image. If you want to run Jenkins, there's a different image. Atomic host, there's a different image. Elasticsearch, there's a different image. Hawkler metrics, there's a different image. etcd, etcd is a database of OpenShift. Even in Kubernetes also it will be there. So even that's, for that also there is a container image. So for every service there will be a different container image. Okay. What happened to this? The labs are not getting created.
Cost lab and
So we have to make sure these three packages are installed, or you can simply, what you can do, yum group info. So when you do yum group info or yum group list, basically not info, it's list. So when you type yum group list, it will show the available groups. So in the available groups, you will see a group called container management. You see this one, container management. So you install that, all the necessary packages will be installed. Or there is also a module called container tools, container hyphen tools. So you can install that module as well, yum module install container hyphen tools. Then also all the necessary packages will be installed. So that necessary package consists of Podman, Scopio and Builda. Okay. Now, so before we start with Podman, it is very important. It is very important it is very important to log in, because the registry which you want to use right now, see the registry which we will use, the registry, if it is a Docker registry then not necessary, but if it is I am using a Red Hat registry, then we have to log in. Without logging in you can't use it. Okay, without logging in we can't use it. Now, so first of all I want to see what all the images are there in my system. So podman images command will help you. Anyway, so it is showing some error. So what I'm going to do, Podman search, I want to search for an image called HTTP, and if I press enter, okay, it's giving a permission error. Let's see if this will work properly, then I will do it here, will not go to any other portal. Yep, it is working. Yeah, this is good. So let me switch to the root user and then we'll start again. Yeah. So as I said, you make sure you have the packages. So it is installing container management. I'll say yes, you install it. So now it is there. Podman, first check what are the images you have. So right now there is no image, 0 images are available with us. Now I want to pull an image. So Podman search httpd. Now when I type Podman search httpd, it will give you a very big list. You see, it's a very big list. Like if I give this command to the less command, okay, you see, I'm pressing down arrow and it keep going. There are so many. Basically there are so many different types of containers called HTTP are available, and from where we are receiving it. So this is the complete URL. This is the URL. The center part is the URL of the complete image, container image. So okay, I don't want to see these many. Okay, I don't want to see these many. So Podman Search HTTPD, what I am going to do, I'll use hyphen hyphen limit, I'll put 3. So whatever the registries you are referring, show three best containers from that registry. See, it has given us 6. Why? Because we have two different registries. So this is the first URL. Okay, this one, this is another URL. This is another URL. Now if you look at any of the URL, every URL has a format. Format means the convention of its name. Now what is that convention? The convention is every image will follow one particular naming convention. That is, first the registry URL, then there will be a slash, then the user or the organization name, then again slash, image name. Okay, this will be the convention, and after that there will be colon, then the tag. Okay, so you will have first registry URL, then user or organization, then image name, then your tag, then the tag. So this is the convention. Remember, tag is nothing but it is like a version. Tag is like a version. So now if you don't specify the tag, it will take the latest tag by default. If you don't specify the tag, it will take the latest as a tag by default. Okay, remember this. So now let us see in a better way. Now you take any of the URL, let's say this one, the last one. Let me highlight it. Okay, this is the complete URL of your image. Now if you look at it, first the registry URL slash the user or the organization name slash the image name. Okay. So now I want to pull that. So I want to bring that image. See, still I don't have any image. Podman pull the image. See, now it is giving an error. It is giving an error. There is some error. What is the error? We'll see now. So the thing is, you are trying to pull the image from what registry. The registry belongs to Red Hat, and Red Hat won't allow you so simply. You have to log in, then you take. You log in, then you take. So I'll log in. Podman login. Login. This is the this is the image URL. You don't have to take the complete name. Okay, Podman login. The image. Now we need only the registry image, so you remove all these things, only keep the registry image. When you log in, it asks for the username. I have a Red Hat account. If you also have account, you can use that account username and the password of the Red Hat account. Okay, see mine is logged in. See, whatever your Red Hat account username and password is the same username and password you used, you will be able to log in. So nothing to worry, you don't have to create any new account, not required. If you have one Red Hat account, that is enough. Well, so mine is logged in. Now after it is logged in, now you pull the same image. Okay, done. So now clear the screen. Podman images. So previously there was no image with us, but if you see now, we have one image which was created 4 years back and the size of it is 841 MB. 841 MB is the size. So this is one image you have. See, this is just a image. You did not run the container yet. You did not start the container yet. Okay, and also remember what will be the page inside the from the container which will be hosted, that will be also predefined by when the image is getting created at that time. Now you can't decide. You can go inside it and modify, do some changes, modifications, that is possible, but you cannot change the entire thing. It's not possible. So anything you want to decide, that should be decided while the creation of your image. So now image is got, but Podman PS, this will show you all the running containers. So there are no containers which is running. PS-A, all containers. There are no containers in our system yet. Just you have an image. Okay. So by using the image, I want to create a container. Okay. So now to start a, when you, there is no separate command for that, you have to start a container so that it can be created. So when you do podman, okay, run the image. So when you type podman run, a container will be created and it will start in a attach mode. Now what is this attach mode? Attach mode means it will run on your terminal. It will not allow you to do something else. You see, the logs are showing on me, showing to me on the terminal, and I want to do ls, not working, pwd not working, host name, this is also not working. So right now container is running in a attached mode, that's why this is happening. Okay, so and if you will press Ctrl C, then it will be detached. Not Ctrl C, Ctrl D or Ctrl Z. Ctrl Z not working. Ctrl D is also not working. I don't know why. Okay, it's, let me close the terminal and I'll open again. So basically it will not allow you to do anything. Control Shift T. It will not allow us to do anything right now. So that's a problem. You see, Podman images, you have the image, Podman PS, you see there is one container and which is still running, because till the time the terminal is on or you did not exit from the terminal, the container will be running. But once you kill from the container, then it will no more, it will run. So that is not a proper mode to run. Okay, that's not the proper way to run a container. That is one of the possibility, but that's not the proper way. So the proper way to run a container is in the detached mode. So podman run in detached mode. This is the container which you want to run. The image URL you have to give. So when you do that, it gives with a container ID URL, and when you do podman ps, you will be able to see there are two containers which are running. Okay, if you look at the columns, first is the container ID. See, if you in these area,
Can you try Control Q or Control P
where
on running terminal? In foreground we started, right? Yeah. Control P or Control Q. Press Control P or Control Q.
no, it is
Control
not
Q.
taking. It's not taking.
Hmm.
See, control, see, control Q. The Q.
Control Q.
When you press control Q, the Q is getting typed here. You see in the bottom.
Let me look. Ah, okay.
No problem, not a problem. So if you look here carefully, the first is the container ID which you can see there. Next is the image which is used. And the third is what command is running in the container, means what service or command is running. And when it was created. Okay. And then in the last, you will be able to see the name. What is the name of that container? See, I did not give any name. Right now, recursing cinder, one name, infallible blackwell is another name. So podman has a ability or ability to give a random name to your container. It can give any name, you can't decide. If you want to decide, then you have to use a option called hyphen hyphen name. So how you will run a container with a name? So podman run hyphen d for detached mode. Then after your detached mode, you use hyphen hyphen name is equal to, I want to name it as the container. You see, third one which was created 3 seconds ago, its name is the container. This one, the one which I have selected. Okay, so this way you can run a container with one particular name. Now see, the role of this container is what? This is a HTTP container. HTTP container means it will what? It will host a website. It will host a website. Now let's say wherever, I mean locally, if you are hosting a website, you give the localhost IP. So here you will have a container IP, that is a local IP that cannot be accessed over the internet. Okay, that's a local IP. So that you have to get and you have to use it. Now let us see what is the container IP is. So how do we know that? So podman inspect. Okay, podman inspect your container name or container ID. I'll use a container name for the You see, it is giving so many information when I do this. I'll give it to the less command. A container ID when it was created. Basically, this is in JSON format. That's okay. Basically, these are all the information of your container. Yeah. This one. If you look at this IP address, the container IP address is this 10.88.0.4. Instead of searching in this way, we could have done grep. Okay. Yeah. The second line, IP address 10.88.0.4. So whether the container is running properly or not, how we will see? Use that IP address. Curl. I hope everybody know the curl command. 10.88.0.4. Curl command is used to put a request, but it says connection refused. Okay. Now to understand this, what's the problem? Probably I think it is not using port number 80. So which port is it using? I don't know, because the container image is not created by me. I don't know which port it is using. So I have to log into the container and check the configuration file. See guys, one computer to another computer, to log in we use SSH plugin, and the command is also SSH. Here we use the same plugin but the command is different. So how do we log in inside the container? You are right now in the workstation inside the computer. Now see, Podman exec execute -I for interactive, T for terminal, for the container, not test container here, the container. Which shell you want? You need bin bash shell. You see, another shell you are able to see. Here it is not giving any message, but you have logged into the container, and for this you don't need any password. Okay, not necessary. So you have logged in as a Git user. So you are in some opt app root src directory. When you do ls, you are not able to see anything. ll command is only not there, I mean inside this container. That's okay. I said right, only few commands will be there inside the container. That's okay. Ll command is not added.
Can we check, okay, what are the commands can be executed from the container? Is it possible?
Yes, it's possible. These all things can be performed.
Okay.
There are so many, but still these are not enough. Okay, there are many containers are available. Sorry, commands are available. So what I want to do, less, is it there? Less is there. So less slash etc http conf httpd.conf. So this is the default configuration file of http. So they did not change. Good to see this. Yeah, yeah, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Here. If you look at this, the container is not running on port number 80. It is running on port number 8000. I understood now. Let me exit from the container by using exit command. Now previously what we did curl is that curl command. This one. You see we did this curl. By default curl will target to port number 80, but are we using port number 80? No. The container is designed in such a way that port number 8000 will be used. So curl this IP on port number 8000. What happened? Some web page is coming, but okay, let's log in and understand.
Shall we try with yeah? Shall we try with HTTP instead of directly same call command?
Yeah, we can try. Okay, it is not taking the page from var www.html. We need to understand also from where it is taking the file, I mean the HTML file. This one. Okay, it is pointing to that only. Okay, so in that case, what I'll do, I'll create a page. Okay, vim slash var www html. See guys, inside this container vim command is also not there. So what we will do, go with vi. Let's check vi is there or not. It's there. So I'll write a HTML content, HTML, close this, h1 for heading. I mean, you can ignore this HTML syntax. Oh shit. Okay, now this is a problem. We don't know what is the password of our root user on this, and Git cannot do it. Anyways, that's okay. Like, even if we are not able to do it, that's not a problem. Basically, try to understand how we are logging in. See, we were able to log in with Podman exec -it interactive terminal, then the container, I mean the container name, and bin bash. You can also use bin sh shell also if you want to use sh shell, that is up to you. So once you configure it properly, the container, inside the container, the page and everything, you will be able to see the web page. Even you open the browser, in the browser also the web page will be visible. Okay, the web page will be visible in the browser. Okay, now see guys, the point is here, see now the point is, if just in case you have configured everything, means now for example this is your system. Okay, let me draw that. This is your system. Inside this system you have one container which is running, and that is hosting a web page. So inside the system only you open a terminal and you do curl, or you open the browser, there you type the container IP address, it will be visible. Okay, but you have, beside the system, you have one more system. Now whatever the site which is hosted by the container, you want to see in the second machine, and inside another machine, not in the same machine. Let's say in my laptop I am running, or my server I am running the container, and it is hosting a website. The website I can see because container is running inside my machine and it is having a local IP. So in the local environment, means inside my server, I can see, but it will not be visible to your machine even if you know the IP. I will tell you, you type the IP address in the browser, it will say unable to found. What it will say? It will say unable to found, because the IP address of the container, it is a local IP. Local IP will be accessible only inside that machine, not outside the machine. Okay, so how do we overcome that problem? So what we can do is, we can perform a port forwarding technique between your container and the machine. Now you will not tell anyone what is your container IP address. Don't tell that. You will give your system this thing, and you will ask him to connect on so and so particular port number. Let's say you will tell, you connect me on port number 881, you will see the website. If you want the web page of the container, then you have to connect to me, my IP. Let's say my IP is 172.25.250.150. This is the IP address. So you connect to this on port number 881, then the container page will be visible. And what I am going to do, the base operating system's 881 port, that will be forwarded to the containers whichever port is active. Right now for my container it was 8000 was active, so I will forward it to that. We will do the port forwarding. 881 will be forwarded to 8000 of container. Okay. So what happens, any traffic which comes on port number 881, everything, the request will be forwarded to the container and container will send the response. Container will send the response. Okay. So that thing is also possible. So how do we do that? How do we establish a port forwarding technique? It's very simple, just one option. See guys, existing containers, you can't do anything to them. You have given a port, means that's okay. In Docker it is possible, in Podman it is not possible. Once the container is started or created, you cannot bind a port or you can't do anything to that. Okay, you can't bind a port or you can't do anything to it. So to give that, you have need a new container. Okay, to do that you need a new container. So podman run in detach mode, name should be new container, new con. Okay, new hyphen con, then hyphen p for port. So what I am telling, that the base missions 881 or 881 should be forwarded to port number 8000 of container. See, left side is the base mission, your operating system port, right side is the container port for this. So anyone will put a request to you on 881, let's say curl localhost. If I press enter, it will not show anything, and curl localhost on 881, still the same, because there is no web page inside the container and we need the root password for that. We need to, if we check the information of the container, we will definitely will find the what will be the password, but we don't have time for that. Let's try to understand what's happening here. So now here also it will show for new container, you see the ports are being forwarded. Okay. Okay, see guys, there are so many containers which are running. I don't want all of them to run. I want few of them should stop. So what I can do, pod man stop what? Yeah, now you see how many are there? Only 3. Now again podman stop, the name of your container basically. See, Podman also supports bash completion, means the tab completion, you don't have to type everything again and again. You can use the tabs. Okay, now you see only one container is running. See, all the containers are there, they are not deleted, they are just stopped. ps-a, if you do, there you will see all the containers are still there. Podman ps command will show only the running containers. ps-a will show all the containers with its state. On and off, all the states will be shown. Okay.
In excite state container, can we modify? In excite state container, can we modify any content? Example, okay, any test contain the container you created, right?
Huh?
In the container,
Hmm.
okay, I want to change the port number or volume I want to present it, permanent volume I want to present it. So in
And
that cases, can we do that?
in Podman, it's not possible. Like
See, in a beginning,
once we create a container, you cannot add a bind a port, neither you can attach a volume.
okay,
Even with Podman, it is not possible.
okay,
It's a demerit,
understood.
you can
Okay,
say. It's a drawback of a Podman. That is, once the container is provisioned, you cannot add a volume, neither you can bind a new port to it. Okay, so that's the thing. That's not possible. You have to delete the old container and create a new container. For the new container, yes, you can put the volume, attach a volume or bind the port. Those things are possible. Okay, guys, those who are attending, are you getting it? There are nearly 8 people. Are you guys getting it? What are we trying to discuss?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this way we will stop the container. And if you want to start the container, podman start followed by the container name. If you write, it will start. Okay, so if you want to see what are the processes or what are the services which are running, you can log into the container and you can check the ps command. Okay, ps-aux, or without logging in also we can check podman top uh, for oops. You see, podman top followed by your new if you write, it is showing us the all the processes which are running. So whatever the processes are there, they all are http process. If you look at that carefully, your one bin bash shell is running and rest all are http processes. There is a complete isolation, it is not combined to your system. Okay, you don't want to see all those things, then we can also write like this: pid, you need the process id, then you need cpu. Okay, cpu is not a non descriptor. pid user command, pid user I think args we will write for command args. Yes, it is args. Yeah, these three lines are, these three columns are enough to understand. CPU, for CPU what we write? I'm unable to remember that word. Mm, is it capital CPU? Anyways, like, you can ignore it. So whatever the columns, you not need specific columns only, you can use the specific columns, or use Podman top followed by container name, all the columns it will show. You use, see all the columns and understand the state. You see all this. Okay, so this way you can see the running process. Now see guys, for example, let's say for example we have seen that there was a vi command was available. There was vi command was available inside your container. Okay, inside the container vi command was available. Okay, now let's say by using vi command you created index.html file and the page is shown. Now after that you want to modify that file, so you don't have to create a new image and new container, not required, because vi command is already there. You log in and use vi and modify the existing file. If vim or none of the editor is given, then we have to create a new image with a new content, then run the image, pull the image and run a container. All those things we have to do. But when there is an editor inside the container, then you don't have to create a new container. Existing container, you can use the editor and modify the definitions of or the files of the container. To do that, every time you have to log into the container, then you will modify the file. But what you can do, you can simply do a like auto mount. Okay, you can do a auto mount. Basically auto mount means nothing but you are giving a volume to it. Means for example, in my system what I'll do, I'll create one directory. Okay, let's say my index.html is stored inside where, inside /var www html, there it is stored. Okay, inside the container there it is stored. The web page or whatever the your concerned file is stored in this location or some xyz location. You have to log in and go to xyz location and you modify. Not necessary. What you can do, in your system you create one directory, maybe let's say /test. Okay, /test, and while creation itself you give, you give this volume, means the directory, and do auto mount with this. Okay, so whatever the files which are stored in HTML which will be visible in the test directory, so you don't have to log into the container every time. From here itself you can do the modifications. So how do we do that? See practically now. Okay, this one container is running right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do, mkdir/test. Okay, mkdir/test is created. So what I will do, podman. Okay, this time you will be able to see whatever the permission error we are getting, right, that error also will be rectified, hopefully. So podman run in detached mode. In detached mode, name will be let's say web is the name, okay. Then hyphen p for the port, I'll say 886 will be mapped to 8000, okay, because I know 881 and 886 are freely available ports, they are not used. So then hyphen v for volume, I have already created test, see slash test, so slash test, this will be mapped to, or the auto mount will mounted on slash var www html, okay. Then one more thing, guys, I know whoever has attended my class, I mean my students, I know like there are few new people also here, so I don't know about you guys. You know SL Linux?
Yeah, yes.
Hey Suresh, you, I mean you have attended, I know about you. Like there are few other new people. I was just checking with them.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
Just
See, SC Linux rule is what? Context should match, then only the service or the application will be able to access that file. Isn't it? File context. See, right now, how do we check the context of the slash test directory? How do I check that? How? How do I check the context of the slash test directory? Context type, SC Linux context.
SC manager ls hyphen l cap z.
Yeah. L is not necessary, ls hyphen z. As it is a directory, I am using D option. Yeah. You see right now the context is default underscore T. This is not accessible by the container. So what we can do is you change the context, or you don't have to change. Colon Z you put here. So this will automatically change. The colon Z will change the context. I will show you. So check the previous context, default underscore T it was, but now I'll press enter, containers run. Now you check, see file container underscore file underscore T is a new context. Previously it was default underscore T, but after running the container, see there are two ways. Either you do it by change it by manually by using chcon hyphen T container underscore file underscore T slash test, you do that and run the container, or use colon Z here. This will also automatically set the context of your directory. This will also set the context of your directory. Your container name is web. You see Podman PS. There is a container called web here. Okay. See before and after we will see. Now before doing anything, ls in slash test. There is nothing inside the test. There is nothing in var www html inside the container. Correct? Either you let's create it here only. I am inside the container right now. Okay, I am not able to create it here, or I cannot create the index.html also because I am a Git user. But I have the privilege of test here, right? I can, hopefully, I think I should be able to create. So ABCD is created here, right? Inside the test directory, ABCD is created. Now let's log into the container again, and then we will see whether we have ABCD or not. Got it? So that means they both are connected now. So you don't have to log in, even though there is no permission for me there. I will be able to create a index.html web page. Actually, the shell is little slow, so I am taking little more time to type.
Every time to run any command
Hmm.
in the
Inside the container.
respective container, login. Yeah, we need to log in here,
Yes.
or can we run any command directly from base?
Without logging in also it is possible.
Is it possible?
Without logging in also it is possible. I will show you how it is. Okay. Now what I will do here, first I need to understand what is the container IP, because when the old container changed and gone and new container created, the IP would have been changed. So Podman inspect web, the container name is web, grep 10.88.0.6. So curl 10.88.0.6 on the port number 888 8000. Let's try this. No, so seems like some other error. Curl localhost One second, guys. One second. Hold on. Yeah, guys. So this could be some other issue. Localhost on 886. Sometimes this problem we may see, like you will not be able to get due to the problem in the container. Let us see. Let's open the web page browser. Here, let's try to ping. Just localhost won't show you. Then 886. Okay, it is asking for a username and a password. Oh, okay, so that's why we are not getting the page. So how will I know what is the username and what is the password? I need to check that. Okay, I got it. So the problem is about the username and password. The container is a bit secure. That's all right. The container is designed in such a way, so that's why it is asking for the username and password. So that's why we are not able to access it. That's fine, no problem. So this way you will be able to, like, the main point is to understand is how do we attach a volume. Rest all the things you know, like going, I mean, you create a file here, it will be created there, or you create there, it will be created here. Both way it is. How do we attach a volume? -v followed by your system's directory, then where it will be mounted in the inside the container, that directory, then put a colon and put z. For both the directories the context will be changed. Okay.
Uh, is it recommended to provide these SC Linux options every time when we are presenting volume to the container? Is it recommended or
uh,
it is optional?
it is recommended to use, because or else you will be end up in using another command chcon. So you want to do it in single command or you want to do it in two different commands, you have to see. Because without changing the context of the directory or the file, it is not possible to mount it. I mean, do a auto mount between the container and a machine. It's not possible. So either you manually change the context and then you don't use this hyphen this colon z option, or do not without changing, without using that command, simple a short option is colon z. So that will change it. So whichever option you like you can use. So I would prefer the z option. Okay, so this way we will run this thing. See guys, as you asked, Suresh asked that without logging in any command we want to type, is it possible to, is it necessary to log in and we do? Because see, exclamatory 60. So I logged into the this thing, what is that, the container, and I am typing host name command. The host name is some weird host name. So the same thing, instead of in the end, instead of bin bash, write down your command. You see, you are getting whatever you want to do, write the command in the end instead of bin bash. If you write bin bash, then you will get the shell. Let's say I want to check what I want to do ls in /var अरे
And Biswajit, I have one more doubt.
yes.
Yeah. Actually, example, there are some URL is not connecting while the port. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They are connecting outside using 443.
Hmm.
And inside there is a link between the Docker container and the base OS.
Hmm.
Like normally in legacy, we will put netstat-an and the connection method and we will check it out.
Hmm.
In Docker, in container, how we will troubleshoot? Like whether it is reaching
Pardon,
to container or
can you please repeat again? Can you please repeat your question again?
actually some example, some customer is saying the URL is not opening. Okay.
Okay.
In legacy environment, what we will do netstat-an, we will check whether the particular IP is reaching and the particular port number.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
So to troubleshoot.
Yeah.
But in here it is redirecting to container inside container, right?
Hmm.
So where we have to run the command and how to trace out where it blocking.
Okay, see, the thing is, normally we won't be using this format. We will be using the clusterized format, like by using Kubernetes or OpenShift. There you will have one more entity called pod. Okay, so there the concept becomes little complex. The point which you asked, that will be utilized here. Here it is very simple. If you it is able to access on the terminal, that means there is a direct connection. You don't have to do anything inside the container. Log into the container, check the configuration, everything is fine or not. I mean, even your URL is, the container is properly working or not. Sometimes what happens is container is not in a good state, so for that, due to that reason, it will not respond. But that happens many times. But let's say if a container is properly I mean, it is properly designed, every configuration is fine, and then still you are not able to curl here, then we need to check whether we are trying to ping to the proper port or not. Now that port is working or not, you can check inside the container also by using netstat. We saw, right, ls, when we did see ls in slash bin, you will see the netstat command. It's, let's go up. This is mkdir. Nice command, neq nm network manager, ns enter, ns lookup is there.
Can you try SS command?
Yeah, like either it should netstat or ss. We can do grep.
Netstat is not available.
No, ss command is not there. Wait, I'm using the wrong option, I guess. The cap.
And instead of grep, bin slash SS star. I'm trying.
Cannot access slash bin ss, no such file or directory.
Okay. And also, it's fine now. Anyway, if we have multiple container, right, there will be load balancer, right? So it will, how the load balance will be here in Podman.
There is no load. See, Podman is a container runtime. It is not. It is just. It will just pull the image and work with the containers. Now, when you talk about this, I mean, there is something called HA proxy. Even load balancers will be there. That is in Kubernetes and OpenShift. So that's different thing again.
Okay.
Yeah. Podman is just a container runtime. It will pull, run, stop, start, those things it will do. It doesn't works with anything about API request, or it will not understand where, let's say you have a cluster. In that cluster you have 5 6 nodes are there, or let's say 3 worker nodes are there where your container will run. So it doesn't matter where Podman will not decide that where it should run. It can run anywhere. That will be decided by a scheduler. So that is a complete concept of Kubernetes.
Okay.
Yeah, basically. So that's the thing.
So auto scaling, everything will come in Kubernetes mostly, right?
Yes, Kubernetes or OpenShift.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm, in an exam point of view, okay, what are the basic things we should know in this chapter?
Um, Port. How do we bind a port? And running the containers as a service, like by using systemctl command, how you will run the container. So that is our my next topic now. Right now I'll tell you. See guys, sometime one more thing. Remember, whenever you are running some containers, like let's say database. So for database you have to set some environment variables. You have to pass few arguments or variables externally. So that is passed with -e option. Let's say you have 5 different variables to be passed. So -e first variable, -e second variable. So for 5 different variables, 5 times you have to use -e, -e, -e. Remember the -e. Okay, right now I don't have any SQL container or anything, so I'm not using that. But remember, it's very simple. Any container, any location you want to pass a environment variable, then you have to use -e. Podman run -d. How you pass? Same way. After -d, -p, -v, you will use -e for extra vars. Okay, extra variable is -e. So now Podman PS. So when I do Podman PS, you can see this web is running fine. But now the time came, I have to reboot my server. See, if I reboot the machine, let's say hundreds of containers which are running in this machine, or even let's say one container is running in this machine, that will go to the stop state. That will go to the stop state. But I don't want my containers to be my container or containers to be stopped after the reboot. Means it should start along with the system. Container should restart along with the system. So it is logically it is not possible, but I mean not logically, like sorry for the wrong word, but it is not, generally it is not possible, but technically we can do this by creating a unit file. See guys, for everything there is a unit file. We do systemctl start httpd, systemctl stop httpd. So what are there? Those are nothing but the unit files. Okay, the HTTP, the last word systemctl start, some name you use, right? That is the file name. Okay, so you want to create a unit file. So what you will do is, web is there, right? For that, let's create. What will be the content of a unit file? Yes, 1 second. Yeah. So what will be the content of a unit file? How you will see? Podman generate systemd, okay, web. It shows some content, it will. So this content is nothing but the content of a unit file. So where does the unit files are stored? It is stored in /etc systemd system, yeah, I can keep it here. Okay, so podman generate systemd web, and so podman generate systemd, your container name. The output should be stored inside a file. So what I'll do, I'll redirect. And I'll store it inside a file. So I will call the file name as, let's say, linux.service. Okay. So let me have a look into it. Multi-user.target for king stop start. Yeah, that's enough. Okay. So once the file is generated, you do the daemon reload, systemctl daemon reload. Done. You see web container is running. So what I'll do, systemctl stop linux service. Done. Systemctl stop linux service is done. So let us check whether it is stopped or not. No, it did not stop yet. Did I store it in the correct location? 1 second, let me check. Here also I can store, not a problem. Yes, 1 second. I think there is a problem with the container only, and location is correct. Okay, this one I'll take. Previous one is also taken from, okay, the second one only I'll take. Second one looks good to me. Guys, just 1 minute, give me 1 minute. Yeah, so where we were, is it pulled? Yeah, container is image is pulled. So what I'll do, by using the second image, I'll run a container. So podman run in detached mode, name will be test container. Okay, okay, by using this I'm going to run a container. So you can use that option -v -p -e, that's okay, no problem. So no matter what type of container it is, so test con is a container which I want to start and stop, I want to do. So podman generate systemd, okay, podman generate systemd test con to Linux. Okay, I have modified it. So 8257E0, 8257E0, correct. Now systemctl daemon reload. Okay, just look, the container testcon is running, but it should get restart when I do the daemon reload. Anyway, we'll try to do restart systemctl. No, it's not taking. I think we should put it in multi-user.target once. Let's try now. If this works, well and good, or it should work actually. But I don't know why it is not working. No. Need to check what's wrong in this. Actually, the procedure which we are doing, that's correct, but I think there is some problem in the lab or maybe in the containers which we are pulling. So generally the observation is whenever you do daemon reload, the container will immediately, it will get restart, it will get stopped, and it will show as like up 10 seconds ago, up 15 seconds ago, like that it will show. It is showing up 4 minutes ago, means that from 4 minutes it did not stop. So I created this container 4 minutes back and I'm doing it. So if it is not going for a restart, then you will not be able to control it with systemctl start or stop. So basically this should happen. I need to check whether the problem is with the machine or problem is with the container, but it will work. Okay, it will work in generic cases. What I can do is, I have one more idea. Vim etc registries.conf. Okay, so in this file the configuration is written from which registry it should pull the image. You see, registry.search, it is searching from see this one, it is searching from registry.access.redhat.com and registry.redhat.io, and I have observed most of the time Red Hat images have lot of problems. I will use docker.io. Okay, I have added a new URL called docker. This is the final time I am trying. We'll stop the session in 10 minutes. Okay. Now you see, one of the highly starred image from Docker we are getting, 3780 stars are there. See, stars are nothing but the likes, means how many people have used it and they have given a good feedback. For the Red Hat ones, 00 are there, but for Docker it is 3780. And I am 100% sure you see how this will work. You see, Podman pull the image let us create a container with that. Podman run in detached mode, name will be new con. Is it there anything called new con? No. Achha, it is there. Test con is there, web is there, new con is there. I will name it as Linux. Okay. Linux -con. Done. So Linux -con is created and it is showing lot of lines, so I am not happy with this. So Podman stop web Hmm. Now you see, guys. So when I do Podman PS, there's only one container which is running, that is LinuxCon, and which was up about a minute ago. Okay, that's fine. Now I'll generate the unit file for this. So Podman generate systemd LinuxCon. The output I will store it in a file called um, linux-con dot service. Okay, so it is created, but linux-con dot service is created, but it is not there in the particular location, I mean respective location. It is there in my home directory. So I'll move it to that location, /etc systemd system, yeah, the same location I'll put it. cd slash etc.
Here one more question.
Yes.
So now my container is running.
Hmm.
Okay. Post reboot, this container will be started automatically, or we need to start again the service manually. We
Normal
need to start the containers manually
Normally it will not
by
start.
default.
By default it will not start.
Okay.
For that only I am creating the unit file. See, once you create the unit file and it is running properly, you can do systemctl enable and the containers unit file. So when you do enable, what will happen? Obviously after the reboot also it will make your container start.
Then can you just restart Podman service? Systemctl restart Podman.
No, no, not systemctl restart Podman.
Okay, no, right?
System Podman does not have a daemon. I said right already.
Oh, okay, okay.
It runs as a Ansible code.
The beginning is good.
I mean, how Ansible is running, it's a code of a Python. Similarly, this also. It says could not be found.
Whether we have to first time enable or let us start and stop do that.
Now, once the unit file is becomes active, then we can do all these things. I don't understand why it is not happening here.
Check the permission or something else like permission.
You see, it says linux-con.service could not be found. Mm, 1 second.
Yeah, just systemctl pipe grep that name you give it, whether it's loaded or no, you can confirm.
correct.
web grep that service name.
It's not loaded, I guess. Let's see.
Yeah, it's not loaded. So we'll need to check the file permission, whether it's taking properly.
Actually, I'm thinking 0, 1042, all these three are there. So, echo. This is the problem, I guess.
Is it require user declaration in the systemctl before deployed actually?
If you do it as a normal user, then user declaration is required, like hyphen hyphen user option we need to use.
Ah, okay.
But as I'm a root user, so that's why I'm using directly. I'm not using hyphen hyphen user.
Okay.
So I understood what's the problem. So export
Okay. Shall we try
xdg.
with enable now option? Shall we type Linux -con service?
That won't work.
Right.
No, this didn't work. Okay, we are using rel 8.2. Yeah. So it should run actually. I have seen I have tried many different times on many different classes, but I don't know why in this lab it's not working. So probably some issue it is. Even guys, all of you have the container books. If you have, well and good. If you don't, you can connect to whoever is your point of contact, Soumya or Sapna. They will share you. The same steps are need to be followed. Whatever I have taught, like you have to create a unit file by using Podman generate, and you have to store it there. After storing it, we have to reload the daemon. Once you reload the daemon, the file will be loaded. But right now, why the file is not getting loaded, I am unable to understand. So I think some issue in the lab only, because initially the lab was also not getting created. So we'll see. But this is what how we will do. But when it comes about a normal user, then again the process gets different. So the process is same. You are going to not store the file, because a normal user does not have the access of etc systemd system. So how the student user, let's say student user, how he will do? He does not have an image. Okay, so how he will do? So Podman search this one I'll take. I can directly pull also. Podman pull in detached mode. Sorry, not Podman pull, Podman run. See, without pulling the image also you can run. First it will pull, then it will run the container. You can see here there's a container here. Now for this, if you want to create, then what we will do, we will create a directory. It is dot config. I mean, it's a sub level directory, so we have to use -p here. Dot config systemd user. So inside this directory you will store. So I'm not sure if I do the steps again it will work or not. I'm not sure, so I'm not going for that. The same procedure. What you will do, everything is same. Systemctl daemon reload you will not do. At that time systemctl -- user, then daemon reload you will do. Like this. Then again, let's say for example your unit file name is student.service for example. Okay, so you will start, stop, enable. How you will do? Systemctl -user, then your start the service name or stop the service name. So putting the -- user is mandatory, it is important. Okay, putting the -- user is important. Yeah, this is the same one. I mean, for this I have a video, I'll share it with you. So yeah, this -- user we have to specify when we are doing as a normal user. So do not worry, I'll share that with you, or I can do it right now also, I guess. One second.